Hello, Moscow. I'm very, very happy to be here. I'm going to briefly introduce myself, and we will begin. My name is Marshall. I'm from a small town called Valley Station, Kentucky. I went to school in Indiana, engineering school. I got an MBA, a PhD from UCLA. I was a college professor and dean when I was very, very young. Then for the past 40 years, I've done four things. One is like today, I give talks or teach classes. This is what I love to do the most. I love speaking and teaching. And I travel all around the world. On American Airlines alone, I have over 11 million frequent flyer miles. Have any of you seen a movie before? Please raise your hands, called Up in the Air with George Clooney. Have you seen this movie, Up in the Air? Yeah, many of you have seen the movie. In the movie, George is trying to get a little card. I have the card. And this always happens to me with the card, especially with women. I show them the card. They always say the same thing. You look exactly like George Clooney. So the first thing I do is speaking and teaching. The second thing I do is I coach executives. So if you've heard of the term executive coach, I've been the coach of the CEO of Ford, Pfizer, Glaxo, the World Bank, the Mayo Clinic, so many wonderful people. And what I love about coaching is where I learn everything. Then the third thing I do is I write and edit books and articles. So I've written or edited 36 books, 3 incredibly popular books, Mojo, What Got You Here, Won't Get You There, and Triggers. And then the final thing is I make videos and articles, and I give all of my materials away. Now, what are we going to be doing today? My mission is to help successful leaders get even better. And I'm going to share a proven model for leadership development that you can use for coaching. You can use pretty much any way you want. Oh, by the way, if you'd like to send me an email, marshall@marshallgoldsmith.com is my email address. And on my website, www.marshallgoldsmith.com, I give everything away. Now, what are we going to be doing? Well, given that I'm the last speaker, my program is going to be interactive. So the first thing we're going to do is practice peer coaching. You now have 20 seconds. I want you to join a group with 2 or 3 people. 2 or 3. To your marks, get set, find a partner. Go, 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 get a partner, get a partner. 2 or 3 people. Everyone needs a partner. Okay, we're now going to practice peer coaching. In peer coaching, you are not here to judge your partner. You are not here to critique your partner. You are not here to put your partner down. You are here to help your partner. I want you to shake hands with your partner and say, partner, my name is, I'm here to help. Go, shake hands. Partner, my name is, I'm here to help. Shake hands. Now, we have 2 major goals today. Goal number 1, we're going to practice and be ready to use something called feed forward, a very positive, upbeat way to help yourself and others get better. And then 2, I'm going to share a proven leadership development model that you can use to coach yourself and build others. I was interviewed in the Harvard Business Review and asked a question. What is the number 1 problem of all of the successful people that you've worked with over the years? What is their number 1 problem? And yes, I met many of you before we began. I sensed the problem from many people in this very room. Yes, I feel many of you may be afflicted with this disease. What was my answer? Winning too much. What does that mean? If it is important, we want to win. Meaningful, we want to win. Critical, we want to win. Trivial, we want to win. Not worth it, we want to win anyway. Winners love winning. In the game of life, you're winners. If you were not winners, you would not be sitting in this room at this time. It is incredibly difficult for winners not to constantly win. I'm now going to give you a case study of winning too much that almost all of my successful CEO clients fail. I'm going to make a prediction. Almost all of you will fail this case study. And when I say fail, you will fail yourself. You will say, what I did do is the opposite of what I know I should have done. Here is the case study. You want to go to dinner at restaurant X. Your husband, wife, or partner wants to go to dinner at restaurant Y. You have a heated argument. You go to restaurant Y. It was not your choice. The food tastes awful, and the service is terrible. Option A, critique the food. Point out our partner was wrong. This mistake could have been avoided had only you listened to me. Option B, shut up. Eat the stupid food. Try to enjoy it and have a nice evening. What would I do? What should I do? Almost all of my clients say, what would I do? Critique the food. What should I do? Shut up. How many people in this room, please raise your hands, have ever critiqued the food before? Raise your hands. Hands in the air. Yes, a room filled with food critiquers. And was that smart or was that stupid? Stupid. And as stupid as it was, I'm going to give you an example now that is so stupid, it will make that one pale by comparison. And I will predict half the people in the room have done this. What is the example? You have a hard day at work, a hard day. You go home. Your husband, wife, or partner is there, and the other person says, I had a hard day today. I had a hard day. And our reply is, you had a hard day. You had a hard day. Do you have any idea what I had to put up with today? Do you think you had a hard day? We are so competitive, we have to prove we are more miserable than the people we live with. I gave this example at my class at the Dartmouth Tuck School of Business. A young man in the back raised his hand. He said, I did that last week. I asked him, what happened? He said, my wife looked at me. She said, honey, you just think you have had a hard day. It is not over. Now, I received an email a few years ago that's in my book, Triggers. If any of you would send me such an email after today, I would feel very proud of today. A young man sent me an email and he said, I know you do not remember me. I was in your class at Dartmouth about 5 years ago. He said, yesterday my wife called and she was having a terrible day at work and at home. She was explaining to me how bad her day was. I was very busy. I was under a lot of pressure. I was just getting ready to point out how my wife's problems paled in significance to my own. He said, for some reason, I remembered your little course. I stopped, I started breathing, and I said, this is my wife. This is someone I love. This is not the enemy. He said, I just listened, and I said, thank you. I love you. Thank you for everything that you have done for the family. He said, I went home, and I spent $25 and bought her some flowers. He said, that was the best $25 I've ever spent. Thank you. Well, the next time you feel a need to win and prove how smart you are and prove how right you are and better than other people, take a deep breath and ask a question. What am I winning? What am I winning? Talk to your partner 20 seconds and answer this question. When is one time in the past you had a need to win and prove that you were right and you should not have been fighting the battle in the first place? Go, 20 seconds, talk to your partner. Go, 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 talk. Okay, stop. The next classic challenge of smart, successful people, adding too much value. Adding too much value. Well, what does this mean? Let us imagine that you're my boss. I am young, smart, enthusiastic. I come to you with an idea. You think it is a great idea. Rather than just saying, great idea, our natural tendency is to say, that is a nice idea. Why don't you add this to it? The problem is the quality of the idea may go up 5%. My commitment to execute the idea may go down 50%. It is no longer my idea, boss. Now it is your idea. Effectiveness of execution is a function of A, what is the quality of the idea, times B, what is my commitment to make this idea work. We can get so wrapped up improving the quality a little bit, we may damage the commitment a whole lot. One of my good coaching clients was from France. His name, J.P. Garnier. J.P. was the CEO of a very large drug company, GlaxoSmithKline. I think the second largest drug company in the world. I asked J.P., what did you learn about leadership as the CEO of this huge company? He said, I have learned a very hard lesson. My suggestions become orders. My suggestions become orders. He said, if they are smart, they're orders. If they are stupid, they're orders. If I want them to be orders, they are orders. If I do not want them to be orders, they're orders anyway. My suggestions become orders. Every time you get promoted in life, every time you get more power, every time you get more success, this lesson will become more and more real for you. Every time you get promoted, more and more of your suggestions become orders. For 9 years, I trained the admirals in the United States Navy. What is the first thing I trained the admirals in the Navy? When you get that little star and become an admiral, your suggestions become orders. Admirals do not make suggestions. When an animal makes a suggestion, what is the response? Sir, yes, sir. That suggestion becomes order. Now, I want everyone to look up here. Look at me. I want you all to smile. Everybody smile, smile. I want you all to take a very deep breath and do your hand like this. And I want you all to go, ah, hand. Ah, very good. Hand. Good. Now, I want you to think back to the last time you got angry and got into a heated argument with someone you love, when you had a need to win and prove that they were wrong on a minor or insignificant point. How many of us have done this before? Please raise your hands. Yes, almost all of us. Okay, everyone look up here. Please raise your hand if you have teenage children. How many of you have teenagers? Many of you have teenagers. Yes, mommy and daddy, many teenagers, waving both hands. I have a question for you, waving both hands. Have you ever attempted to prove the teenage child was wrong on a minor or insignificant point before? Have we tried that before? How well does that work? Let it go. Win the big ones, lose all those little points. Now, more good news. Everything I'm going to teach you tonight doesn't just have to do with work. It all has to do with home. And at the end of the day, the people at home are even more important than the people at work. 4 words are going to help you be a better coach at work, and the same 4 words will help you be a better family member at home. 4 words. What are these 4 words? Help more, judge less. Help more, judge less. How many of us have friends and family members who might be happy if we help just a little bit more and we judge just a little bit less? Almost all of us. Help a little more, judge a little less. Now, you're going to talk to your partner. You're going to have 20 seconds to answer this question. What % of all interpersonal communication time is spent on A, people talking about how smart, special, wonderful they are, or listening to someone do this, plus B, people talking about how stupid, inept, or bad someone else is, or listening to people do this? I want you to take A plus B divided by all communication time and give me one percentage number. 0 would be none. Now, obviously, the number cannot be 0. 100 would be all. The number cannot be 100. I want you to give me one number between 0 and 100. Talk to your partner. Oh, and by the way, for my engineers in the room, I'm aware of the fact there's not a, quote, right answer. There is an average answer. I have asked over 100,000 people from around the world to complete this test. When you finish, I'll tell you how your score compares with the average score in the world. To your marks, get set, talk to your partner, come up with a number between 0 and 100. Go, talk. Okay, stop. I have asked over 100,000 people from around the world to take that test. The average score in the entire world is right about 65%. And by the way, did any of you get 65? Good. The average score in the world is right around 65%. Now, there's not a right answer. That is the average answer. And it really doesn't matter what country I'm in. I've been to 100 different countries. The score is almost the same. Now, everyone look up here. How many of you, given pressures of work and home and new technology that follows you everywhere, emails, voicemails, global competition, how many of you feel about as busy today as you have felt in your entire lives? Raise your hands. Yes, many people in this room. I'm now going to give you a productivity enhancement tool for yourself and for your teams. What is this tool? Reduce that number. Reduce that number. How much do we learn talking about how smart and wonderful we are? Nothing. How much do we learn talking about how stupid everyone else is? Nothing. And what percent of all communication time is wasted on that? About 65%. Reduce that number. Now, learning from a great leader. In my role as an executive coach, and I did get ranked #1 executive coach in the world. In my role as an executive coach, I have a very unique billing system. I do not get paid 1 cent if my clients do not get better. I get paid nothing during the entire assignment. If my clients get better, I get paid. If they do not get better, it's all free. Now, there's a great way to test if someone actually believes what they're saying. You can ask a person one question and instantly determine their level of belief. I've never seen this question fail. What is that simple question? Do you want to bet on it? Do you want to bet on it? If they say, I believe it, but I do not want to bet on it, what did you learn? They don't believe it. If they say, here's the money, they believe it. I bet on this every time. When you get paid for results, you learn humility. The client I coached that I spent the most amount of time with did not improve at all, and I did not get paid. The client I coached that I spent the least amount of time with improved more than anyone I've ever coached. 200 people got better, and I did get paid. This was a humbling lesson. For those of you with a background in mathematics, I made a chart. On one dimension, it was called Time Spent with Marshall Goldsmith. The other dimension was called Improvement. There was a clear negative correlation between spending time with me and getting better. I thought, this is a troubling chart. I go talk to my client who improved the most, who I spent the least amount of time with, who was ranked in 2014 the #3 greatest leader in the entire world, behind only the Pope and Angela Merkel, CEO of the Year of the United States. His name, Alan Mulally. Alan, the CEO of the Ford Company. When he was at Ford, the stock went from $1 to $18.40. A fantastic leader and just a great human being. He works with me now. I went to talk to my friend Alan. I said, Alan, of all the people I coached, you improved the most, and I spent the least amount of time with you. I showed Alan my chart. I said, Alan, the way this troubling chart looks, had you never met me, you would really be good. So I asked my friend Alan, what should I learn about coaching from you? He taught me 2 lessons. If you learn nothing today from me but these 2 lessons, you will be a better coach and have a happier life. He said, lesson #1, Marshall, Your biggest challenge as a coach is called customer selection. If you pick the right customer, your coaching process will always work. If you pick the wrong customer, your coaching process will never work. He said, number 2, never make the coaching process about yourself and your own ego and how smart you think you are. Make it about the great people you work with, how hard they work, and how proud you are of them. Well, then he said, as the CEO of Ford, my job was not that different. He said, I do not design the cars. I do not build the cars. I do not sell the cars. I have to have great people. Then he said, every day at Ford, I told myself, leadership is not about me. Leadership is about them. For the great individual achiever, it's all about me. For the great leader, it's all about them. Everyone in this room is a pretty great individual achiever, or you would not be sitting in this room at this time. That does not mean you will be a great leader. There's a big difference between it's all about me and it's all about them. Most of us never deeply understand these points. I'm going to illustrate my case right now. Now, I have a question. Do not answer the question until I go like this. If the answer is yes, when I go like this, I want you to say yes in a very loud voice. Wait until I go like this, though, before you respond. Are we ready? Here in Moscow, is this a group of leaders who have good values and high integrity? Well, I'm going to test that right now. I'm going to ask you a question, a troublesome question, a personal question. Yes, perhaps an embarrassing question. If the answer is yes, you must raise your hands. If the answer is no, you do not have to raise your hands. How many people in this very room are still stupidly attempting to change the behavior of a wife, husband, or partner who has absolutely no interest in changing? Raise your hands. Look at all these hands going in the air. Yes, some people are waving 2 hands in the air. Look up here, smile. Now I have an even more troubling question. How many of you are still, even more stupidly, attempting to change the behavior of mommy or daddy who has no interest in changing? Come on, hands up. Look at all these hands. I was teaching my class at Dartmouth. A young woman raised her hand. I said, are you trying to change mommy or daddy? She said, daddy. I asked her, what is daddy's problem? She said, daddy does not have a healthy lifestyle. I asked her, how old is daddy? She said, 94 years old. I said, leave the old man alone. If you want to smoke a cigar, old man, smoke too. Smoke pot, who cares? Now, I'm going to teach you a lesson that's going to help you be a better coach and have a happier life. In terms of coaching adults, If they do not care, do not waste your time. If they do not care, do not waste your time. How much of our lives are wasted trying to change the behavior of people who do not care? And what is our return on this investment? And the time we waste with people who do not care is stolen from the people that do care. As a coach, put your time and energy in with the people who do care. A second great lesson for you in terms of becoming a more effective leader, a parent, friend. If you do not care, do not waste your time. If you're going to get better at anything, the motivation for your improvement must come from one and only one place. Where's that? In your heart. If it does not come from in here, you won't do it anyway. Don't waste your time on what you cannot change. Focus on what you will change. Now, we're going to practice, as promised. We're going to do some practicing. I'm going to have everyone in the room pick one behavioral change that will make a positive difference for you. One change. For example, who is impatient? Raise your hand. Who is impatient? Yes, many impatient. This person, you're so impatient, the first one to raise your hand. Now, I have a question. Would your friends and family members be sad if you became more patient, or perhaps happy? Let's go with happy. Is anyone a little stubborn or opinionated? Anyone need to listen a little better? Listen. Who needs to listen? Raise your hand. Listen. Yeah, a lot of us need to listen. Now, let's imagine you become a better listener. What happens to your score on treating people with respect? Up or down? Up. Coaching? Up. Customer satisfaction? Up. Friend and family member? Up. You see, the way you get better at everything is do not try to change everything. None of us are going to remember everything anyway. Let's just pick one thing that comes from your heart and get better at that. That will probably relate to a lot of other things. Now, you're going to talk to your partner. You're going to say, good partner, here's one behavior I would like to change. And here's why. If I get better at this one thing, it's going to make a positive difference in my life. Then your partner says, here's one behavior I would like to change. And here's why. If I get better at this one thing, it will make a positive difference in my life. Do you all understand the rules? I forgot something. Look up here. I forgot something. If you cannot think of even one thing that you do need to improve, pick humility. Okay, to your marks, get set, go. Talk to your partner. Talk to your partner. Okay, stop. We are now going to practice. We're now going to practice something called feed forward. Feed forward. I'm not sure there's really a word in Russian for feed forward. I'll describe what it is. In feed forward, you're going to be in two roles. Role number one is called learn as much as you can. Are there some smart people in this room? Yes or no? If you had a chance to learn from these smart people, would you like to learn from these very smart people? Are there some nice people in this room? Yes or no? If you had a chance to learn from these nice people, would you like to, excuse me, if you had a chance to help these nice people, would you like to help these nice people? You're either going to be learning from these smart people, which is good, or helping these nice people, which is also good. Therefore, it is all good. Now, what are the rules of Feed Forward? Rule number 1 is called no feedback about the past. No feedback about the past. Everyone look up here. How many of you have been impressed with your wife, husband, or partner's near photographic memory of your previous sins, which have been documented and will be shared with us in a repetitive and annoying way? Well, you know what? We can't change the past anyway. Everyone look up here. Look up here. I want you all to follow these instructions. Do your hands like this. Hands like this. Very good. Look around the room at all these nice faces. Look around the room. So many good faces. I want you to look back here, smile, take a deep breath, and go, ah, ah, ah. You see, whatever sins anyone in this room has committed until this second in time, we're not going to change the past anyway. Rule 1, no feedback about the past. Rule 2 is going to be harder. In this exercise, you're going to get ideas. Don't judge or critique the ideas. You're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. Person's going to give you 1 or 2 very quick ideas for the future, no feedback about the past. No matter what that person says, you're going to stand there, shut up, listen, take notes if you wish, and all you can say back is, thank you, thank you. Now you're going to ask for ideas. I want you to treat the idea like a gift. If someone gives me a gift, should I say, stinky gift, bad gift, I don't like your stupid gift? What should we say to the nice people who give us a gift? Thank you. If you want to use the gift, use it. If you do not wish to use the gift, it's okay. Put it in the closet. If you already have the gift, repackage it and give it to your mother-in-law. Just say thank you. Now, how is this going to work? You're all going to stand up. You're going to have 4 minutes. It's going to go fast. Guidelines: positive, simple, focused, and fast. Positive, simple, focused, and fast. You're going to talk to as many people as you can possibly talk to in 4 minutes. You're going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. The person's going to give you 1 or 2 very quick ideas for the future, no feedback about the past. No matter what the person tells you, you are to stand there, shut up, listen, and all you can say back is, thank you. The other person is going to say, my name is, I want to get better at. Give me 1 or 2 very quick ideas. They give you ideas, and then you say thank you. Then you shake hands. Now, after you shake hands, I want you to raise your right hand. That's going to signal you don't have a partner. Someone else will look around. They'll see your right hand is up. They'll shake your hand. Your mission is to talk to as many people as you can humanly talk to in the next 4 minutes. Do you all understand the rules? Stand up. Stand up. Everybody stand up. Let's go. Stand up. Up, up, up. Stand up. Stand up. To your marks. Get set. Go, 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 go. When you finish talking to someone, move on to another person. Keep going. Some water. Thank you. Okay, stop. Stop, stop, stop. Shh, shh, shh. Stay where you are. Stop. Don't sit down. Remain standing. Shh, 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 shh. Now, I am going to begin, shh, quiet, remain standing. I'm going to begin a sentence. Shh, shh, shh. I'm going to begin a sentence and leave out the last word. Shh, shh, shh. You're going to think of a word. When I go like this, I want you to loudly shout out that word, whatever that word is for you. And by the way, you can shout this out in Russian. Are we ready? Shh. This little exercise was well, I've done this with hundreds of thousands of people around the world. 95% say great, positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. The answer to this question will help you be a better coach and have a happier life. Why? Sit down by your partner. Sit down by your partner. Why do people say this is positive, useful, helpful, and fun? By the way, what is the very last word that you would think to describe any feedback activity? Fun. Fun. Has anyone ever called you on the phone and said, I have feedback I would like to share with you. Please come into my office. And you said, fun, fun, fun. Fun is the last word you think of. Yet 95% of the people who do this say it's positive, useful, helpful, or even fun. Why? It's focused on a future you can change, not a past you can't change. There's no judging or critiquing. You have nothing to lose, you have everything to gain. And there's some great misconceptions about coaching. One misconception of coaching is, I have to have a deep knowledge of you to help you. Wrong. Many people in this exercise say, you know, I learned interesting things from people I don't know. A bigger misconception is this. I must be better than you, or smarter than you, or superior to you to help you. Or you must be better than me to help me. Wrong. Two ways, not one way. One person says, I want to get better, please help me. The other person says, I can get better too, please help me. You see how different that feels than one person going, you get better, I have nothing to improve, you get better. We don't have to be better than others to help others. Better off not trying to be superior. Better off being a fellow human being, stumbling through life without clear answers to even tiny little questions like, who am I? Where are we? And what is going on here? That's we're not little gods. We're just little confused human beings. Better off to just be that and try to help each other, as opposed to acting superior to people. Now, finally, how can you use this to develop yourself as a leader and a partner? First, get in the habit of doing something we do not do enough in life, asking a question. What is that simple question? How can I be a better? Now, we're going to practice this yes exercise again. I'm going to ask questions. Do not reply until I go like this. When I go like this, if the answer is yes, you say yes in a very loud voice. If the answer is no or you do not know, remain silent. If the answer is yes, yes. If the answer is no, silence. In your fine companies, is customer satisfaction important? Should we ask our customers for their good ideas? Should we listen to these good customers? Should we learn from these good people? Do you have a husband, wife, or partner at home? Have you been spending a lot of time asking your husband, wife, or partner, what can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? I noticed a massive drop-off in the level of enthusiasm. Tell the truth. Who has a husband, wife, or partner at home, and you have not been asking that good partner, what can I do to be a better partner? Come on, raise your hands. Come on, hands up, liars. Hands in the air. Bad husband, very bad. What's your name, sir? You're going to go home tonight, and you're going to ask your wife a question. What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Then your wife will ask you a question. Who have you been sleeping with? Now you see, we do not ask this question at work, and we ask it even less at home. Would you agree with me? Should we ask our fine partners at home how we can be better partners? When are we going to start? Now. I want you all to get out your cell phone. It's time to send a text message. You're going to send a text message to your wife, husband, or partner and ask one question. What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Send those text messages. What can I do to be a better partner in our relationship? Now, while you're sending your messages, I've had thousands of people from around the world do this. I get so many funny answers. One of my favorites, a common response from the wife is, "This is your wife. Who is the message intended for?" I get a whole lot of, "Are you drunk?" I was just at Microsoft about a month ago. This young man raised his hand and he said, my wife has already sent me 9 numbered suggestions. 9. All of a sudden we hear, ding, 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 ding. 17 suggestions on how he could be a better husband. One of my favorite stories, I was at Dartmouth. Attractive young woman in my class. She sends a message to her husband. How can I be a better wife? Her husband said, stop at that sex store on the way home and buy the sexy nurse outfit and wear it home. She showed it to me. She goes, what an idiot. I said, what do you care? You're married anyway, do it. She said, you're right, I'm going to do it. She did it. Do you know what her husband said when she came home? I love Marshall Goldsmith. So get in the habit of asking that question, how can I be better? Not just at work, also at home. Now, after we ask, we set up an expectation. What do these people think we should do next? Listen. And the first thing we want to do is the last thing we should do. What is that? Ask for input, then express my opinion. If I ask you for input and immediately express my opinion, what does that sound like? Defensiveness, denial, rationalization, making excuses. The next thing is, think about what people have to say. Think. Don't talk. Think. And avoid punishing the messenger. Don't punish these nice people who tell us the truth. Now, I'm going to give you a second chance. We're going to do that yes exercise again. You didn't do real well on that last yes exercise about that wife at home and that husband. I'm going to give you a second chance. I'm going to predict even worse results. Are we ready for the second chance? If the answer is yes, you say yes. The answer is no, silence. Do you agree with me that we should encourage our coworkers to tell the honest truth? Would you agree with me that punishing the messenger, punishing these good people who tell us the truth, punishing people who try to be honest, that would be a bad idea, a terrible idea, an awful idea? Am I in a room surrounded by hypocrites? Now, you told me punishing the messenger was a bad idea, a terrible idea, an awful idea. I'm now going to give you an example of punishing the messenger. When someone who gave you a message, and we'll see how you handled it, maybe a person who was trying to help you, maybe a person who loved you, maybe a person trying to save your life, and we're going to say, did you say thank you or punish that person? Here's the case study. You have a hard day at work, a hard day. You go home. Your wife, husband, or partner's there. You get in the car to go to the store. You're driving to the store. Lots of traffic. The cars are cutting in front of you. That person in the front seat goes, look out, there's a red light up ahead. Did you say, thank you? Or perhaps something that sounded like, what do you mean there is a red light ahead? Don't you think I can see? I know how to drive this car. Why don't you be quiet and let me drive? Tell the truth. Raise your hand if the answer is yes. How many of us have ever yelled at that person in the front seat who was trying to save our lives? Yes, a room filled with guilty people. What was the cost of that person saying, hey, there's a red light up ahead? Nothing. What could that have saved? Your life, their life, and the lives of other innocent people. If somebody gives us something that has a huge potential benefit and costs nothing, what should we say to such a good person? Thank you. Look up here. The next time you're driving and that person corrects your driving, you are going to go just like this. Thank you. Now, the next step in our process is respond to feedback. Now, I'm going to try to see as many as you can. How many of you have heard this term before? 360-degree feedback. Feedback from our coworker. 300. Have you heard this term? Many of you have heard this term. Yes, I am a pioneer in the world of 360-degree feedback, a pioneer. Wait. It's not always good in life when people constantly call you a pioneer. What does pioneer really mean? Old. Last month I was at Harvard. I got the Lifetime Achievement Award for Leadership and Coaching. The Lifetime Achievement Award. What does that mean? It looks like he's about to die. Well, I don't know much about much. I know a whole lot about how to respond to feedback. If you ever get such feedback from your coworkers or coach someone who does, here are my guidelines. Positive, simple, focused, and fast. Do something that sounds like this. Miss Coworker, we're going through this feedback process. The first thing I'd like to say is thank you to everybody who participated. I don't know who said what. You know, a lot of people took the time to help me. I want to say how grateful I am. Second, much of my feedback is positive, ethical, dedicated, hardworking, caring about the company, creative, integrity. These are important values to me. I hope we score high and did. I want to say thank you. Then don't say but. Say and. There's something I would like to improve. My advice as a leader, pick one thing. Don't pick a laundry list. Pick one. And whatever you pick should come from your heart. I'd say there's something I would like to do better. For example, I want to be a better listener. If I've not listened to you or the other people, I'm sorry. Please accept my apologies. No excuse. Then do not ask for more feedback about the past. Feed forward. I'd say I'm not going to ask you for feedback about the past. I can't change the past. I'm going to ask you for ideas for the future. If you had to have ideas to help me be a positive and open-minded listener in the future, what might they be? Whatever that person says, sit there, shut up, listen, take notes, and say thank you. Don't judge or critique. Never promise to do everything people say. Leadership's not a popularity contest. I would say, I cannot promise to do everything you and everyone suggest. I can promise to listen to everyone, to think of the ideas and do what I can. I cannot change the past. I can change the future. I cannot get better at everything. I can get better at one thing. And if you do not mind, I'm going to involve you and ask you to help me get better. I'm going to follow up with you. Then involve that person. And then, of course, step 7 is change. I had been in business 12 years before anyone asked me what I consider to be the great existential question. What was the question? Does anybody ever really change? Does anybody ever really change? I looked at this gentleman and I said, I have an undergraduate degree in math, MBA, PhD, 12 years experience. I have no research to prove it, so I guess I do not know. Good question. I do not know. For 28 years, I've been answering that question. Now I do know. I know who changes, who does not change, why people change, and why people do not change. The key to making change last could be summarized in one term. You have to follow up and stick with it. What does follow up sound like? Mr. Coworker, 2 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2. Feed forward. 4 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2. 6 months ago, I said I wanted to be a positive and open-minded listener. Based on the last 2 months, give me ideas for the next 2. 8 months, 10 months, 12 months. Now, what happens if you do this very simple process that I just described? I'm going to answer this not from a theory point of view, but from a research point of view. I did a research study called Leadership as a Contact Sport. In this study, we have 86,000 participants. We have now replicated the same research with 248,000 people from around the world. There is no country this does not work. I have great coaches in Russia using this process right now with great success. There is no country this doesn't work. There's no industry this doesn't work. And there's no level of management this does not work, all the way from first-line supervisor up to CEO. In our research, every leader got multi-rater feedback. They were all asked to pick something to improve and to talk to people in the same way I talked to you, and then follow up in the same way I described. And then we did a survey a year later and asked, has this person become a more effective leader? Not as judged by himself or herself, as judged by everyone around them. What did we learn? Table 1. When people said, my coworker went to your leadership program, got feedback, did not talk to me or with the other coworkers when they returned, -3, less effective. 0, did not change, +3, more effective. 5 companies ask exactly the same questions. What did you learn? Table 1. If you know about probability and statistics, that looks a little bit better than a normal distribution curve. I've done something called a control group study. No training, no feedback, no nothing. The control group did this well. They might as well have been watching situational comedies as go to a training program and get feedback. Total waste of time. Table 2, when people said, my coworker did a little follow-up, look at the curve, a little better. Table 3, some follow-up, much better. Table 4, frequent follow-up, much, much better. And finally, the amazing Table 5, consistent or periodic follow-up, massive improvement. They all went to the same program. In most cases, it was all taught by the same person, me. They all got feedback on the same process at the same time. What did I learn? If you get better, it does not have much to do with me. It's got everything to do with you. What I just taught you tonight works. It doesn't kind of work, or sort of work, or a little bit work, or work only in this country or that country. It always works. Shockingly, it doesn't work if you don't do it. And the challenge we have in life is not understanding it. Our challenge in life is doing it. When my book, What Got You Here Won't Get You There, was the #1 best-selling business book in the United States, the #1 best-selling diet book in the United States sold 10 times as many copies. Americans get fatter and fatter and fatter and fatter while purchasing more and more diet books. If purchasing diet books would make you thin, Americans would be the thinnest people who have ever lived. No one loses weight because you purchase a diet book. You have to go on the diet. Arnold Schwarzenegger has a great quote: "Nobody got muscles by watching me lift weights." Well, the key's not understanding how to lift weights, it's doing it. Now, we're going to finish with two final examples. Everything I just taught you doesn't apply at work, it all applies at home. When my daughter Kelly was 11 years old and my son Brian was 9 years old, I decided I should do this with my children. I began asking my children a question we as parents all should ask. What was that question? What can I do to be a better father? What can I do to be a better parent? The problem with asking the question is, you get the answer. My daughter Kelly was 11. She said, "Daddy, you travel a lot." She said, "That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is the way you act when you come home. You talk on the phone, you watch sports, you don't spend much time with me." She said, "One time it was Saturday, and I wanted to go to a party at my friend's house, and Mommy didn't let me go to that party. I had to stay home and spend time with you." And then she said, "You spent no time with me. That was not right." What could I say? Thank you. I said, "Daddy is going to do better. I'm very proud of this." I said, "I'm going to keep track of how many days I can spend 4 hours with my family." By the way, if 4 hours is too many for you, make it 3. If 3 is too many, 2. 2 is too many, 1. How much time does the average American father spend in a meaningful dialogue with the average American child in a period of 1 week? 7 to 15 minutes. And I hate to say this, but I doubt the number in Moscow is too much better. 7 to 15 minutes. I said, "Daddy's going to do better." 1991, 92 days, 4 hours. 1992, 110 days, 4 hours. 1993, 131 days, 4 hours. And 1994, 135 days, 4 hours with my family. I made more money the year I spent 135 days, 4 hours with my family, than the year I spent 20 days. What did I learn? The San Diego Chargers, American football team, really do not care about me. Now it's January 1, 1995. Both children are now teenagers. Daddy is proud. I have my charts. I said, "Kids, look, 135 days, 4 hours with Daddy. What goal this year? How about 150 days? They both said, "No, Daddy, no. You have overachieved." My son said 50 is a much better target. They both voted for a massive cutback of Daddy. I learned a very good lesson. When they're little, it is important to do this. Why? They need us. When they get older, it's important for a different reason. What is it? We need them. We need them. How many of you, raise your hands, have adult or grown-up children? How many of you have adult children? Yeah, many of you. How fast did those years pass? How fast? Good to do this at work, even better at home. I was teaching a class called the Kaiser Permanente Company, a very large hospital company in California. I was at the Oakland Convention Center, 1,000 people in the room. A woman raised her hand named Trudy Triner, and she said, "There's always something you've forgotten." She said, "I've been to your class twice. I've read everything you've ever written. There's always something you have left out." She said, please ask people to do this with their parents. Please ask people to do this with their parents. She said, I went to your class and my daughter was 17. And I asked my daughter, what can I do to be a better mother? And we had such a nice talk. Then she said, my daughter asked me, what can I do to be a better daughter? She thought that was nice. I should call my own mother. She said, I called my mother and I asked her, what can I do to be a better daughter? Then she said, my mother said, Daddy is dead. I live alone in the country. Every day I take a long walk up the road to go to the mailbox. Almost every day there's nothing in the mailbox. Every day that makes me so lonely. She said, as your mother, it would mean so much to me if you would send me a little card or a picture or something, so when I would walk to my mailbox, I would find something in my mailbox. She started sending her mother little pictures and cards every day. What did that cost her? Nothing. What did that mean to her mother? Everything. She sent me an email about 2 years later, and the email said, my mother just died. The last thing her mother told her, thank you for doing that. If your parents are still alive, this is a very nice thing to do for 3 reasons. Number one, it's good for them. Even if they say you don't have anything to improve, they'll be proud that you cared enough to ask. Number 2, it's good for you. What is the number one regret children have when mom and dad die? Why didn't I thank them for all the nice things they did for me? Why was I always criticizing them? And number 3, if you have little children, this is very good for your little children. Why is it good for your little children? You know the old people that you're calling up on the telephone? Guess what? You are going to be the old people. Do you want that child calling you up on the telephone? Your little child is not going to listen to what you say. Your little child is going to watch what you do. Our values are not what we say. Our values are what we do. Talk to your partner 20 seconds and answer this one question. Who is one person that you need to be asking the question, how can I be a better to? And why is that important to you? 20 seconds, talk to your partner, go. Who should you ask this question to? Go, go, go. Okay, stop. Now, whoever that is for you, do that. Now, here is the final conversation you're going to have with your partner. Final conversation. I want you to talk to your partner and answer this question. What is one thing I learned tonight that can help me have a better life, or the people around me have a better life? And why is this one thing important to me? To your marks, get set, 1 minute, talk to your partner. What's one thing you learned that can help you have a better life? And why is that one thing important to you? Go. Can you come up here for a second? I'm going to finish in about 5 minutes. 5 minutes. Tell them to finish in 5 minutes. Okay, stop. Now, we are now going to finish with my favorite coaching exercise in the world. I'm going to give you the best coaching advice you're going to get in this or perhaps any other lifetime. Here it comes. For the last time, I want everyone to look up here. Look up here. I want you all to smile, smile, and I want everybody at the same time to go, ah, hand, ah, ah. Very good. Here's the best coaching advice you're ever going to get. I want you to imagine that you are 95 years old. You're 95 years old. You're just getting ready to die. You're on that deathbed. Here comes your last breath. Right before you take that last breath, you're given a wonderful gift, a beautiful gift, the ability to go back in time. The ability to go back in time and talk to the person in this room. The ability to help this person be a better leader. Much more important, the ability to help this person have a better life. What advice would the wise 95-year-old you, who knows what really mattered in life and what did not matter, what was important and what was not important, what advice would that wise old person have for the you that's sitting in this room right now? I don't want you to say anything, do anything, write anything. Just answer that question in your mind. What advice would that wise old person have for you? Whatever you are thinking now, do that. In terms of a performance appraisal, that's the only one that will matter. If that old person says you did the right thing, you did the right thing. If that old person says you made a mistake, you made a mistake. You do not have to impress anyone but that old person. Some friends of mine interviewed old folks who were dying and asked them this question: what advice would you have? On the personal side, 3 themes. Theme number 1, 3 words. Be happy now. Be happy now. Not next week, not next month, not next year. Be happy now. The Great Western Disease, which has infected Russia, the Great Western Disease, I will be happy when? When I get the money, the status, the BMW, the condominium. I will be happy when? We all have exactly the same when. That old person is when. A learning point from old people: I got so busy chasing what I did not have, I could not see what I did have when I had everything. Many of you are among the luckiest humans who have ever lived. Many of you have friends, you have family, you have your health, you live in nice places. Compared to me, you have youth. You've got it all. Don't get so busy chasing what you don't have, you can't see it. Learning point number 2, friends and family. I'm sure many of you work in very nice companies. When you're 95 years old and you look around that deathbed, none of your coworkers will be waving goodbye. You start to realize these friends and family, they're kind of important. They're the only people that care today. And learning point 3, if you have a dream, go for it. Because if you do not go for it when you're 35, you may not when you're 45, and you probably will not when you are 85. And it doesn't have to be a big dream. Maybe a little dream. Go to New Zealand. Speak Spanish. Play the guitar. Other people think your dream is goofy. Who cares? It's not their dream. It's your dream. It's not their life. It's your life. I had a very embarrassing experience 2 years ago. I was teaching this class and I said, go to New Zealand, speak Spanish. A man raised his hand and he said, we're in Spain, you idiot. We all speak Spanish. Business advice isn't much different. Number one, life is short. Have fun. Number two, do whatever you can do to help people. The main reason to help people has nothing to do with money or status or getting ahead. The main reason to help people is much deeper. The 95-year-old you will be proud of you because you did, and disappointed if you do not. And if you do not believe this is true, interview any CEO who has retired. I've interviewed very many, and asked them a question. Please tell me, what are you proud of? None have told me how big their office was. All they ever talk about is the people they helped. The final advice, go for it. Your industries are changing. Your world is changing. Do what you think is right. You might not win. At least you tried. Old people, we almost never regret the risk we take and fail. We always regret the risk we fail to take. Final thing I would like to say is, it's been my honor to talk to all of you today. I hope you found my time with you to be positive and practical and useful, and hopefully help you have just a little better life. Thank you. Thank you.